Inside the life of the King of Brunei. Have you heard of the tiny nation Brunei on the island of Borneo? Some will answer yes, others will answer no. But do you know Brunei is ruled by the king, and he's one of the richest kings in the world? The king is so rich that the wash basin is decorated with gold. But where does he get his insane amount of wealth? In today's video, we'll dive into the lavish life of the King of Brunei, Hassanal Bolkiah. Everything will be revealed here today, from his 5,000 car collection to the multi-million-dollar private jets that he owns with the source of his earning. But before that, let's look into the early life of the King of Brunei, Hassanal Bolkiah. Early life. The Sultan of Brunei was born on July 15, 1946 in Istana Darussalam, Brunei. He was born to father Omar Ali Saifuddin III and mother Penigran Anak Damnit. Sultan was the couple's eldest son, and they named him Hassanal Bolkiah ibn Omar Ali Saifuddin III. He was educated privately when he was young. As he grew up, the Sultan received a high school education at Victoria Institution in Kuala Lumpur. Later, he was sent to the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst, England. And in 1961, the king of the nation, Omar Ali Saidan, named Hassanal Bolkiah as the Crown Prince of Brunei. And in the year 1967, he completed his graduation and returned home. Crown Prince Hassanal Bolkiah continues to assist his father for 6 years. After that, King Omar Ali Saifuddin III suddenly abdicated the throne, and on October 5, 1967, the prince became Sultan of the nation. And on August 1, 1968, he was coronated as king and knighted by Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, because by then Brunei was still under the protectorate of England. However, even after being coronated, former King Omar controlled the nation from behind the throne, which continued for a decade. But after the death of his wife and King Hassanal's mother, he withdrew himself from politics and public affairs, and the Sultan took over all the power in his hands. After taking power, the king traveled through the country to promote himself and establish his authority. And when the British formally withdrew as a protectorate on January 1, 1984, the King of Brunei replaced it with native bureaucracy. Currently, Hassanal Bolkiah, being the nation's king, also holds other positions like the Prime Minister, Finance Minister, and Commander of the Armed Forces. According to a Forbes report, the net worth of the king is about $28 billion. So now let's see how the king spent the chunk of his money on the palace. The royal palace Hassanal Bolkiah owns. The official residence of the King of Brunei is this beautiful palace, which is located on the banks of the Brunei River, a few kilometers southwest of Bandar Seri Begawan, which is Brunei's capital city. This palace is called Istana Nurul Iman, which translates to the Light of Faith. It was built in the year 1984 and spreads across 2 million square meters of area. Istana Nurul Iman cost around $400 million to complete, and the current price of this grand palace is about $5 billion. The royal palace is also special because it holds Guinness Books of World Records for the largest palace in the world. The palace is so huge that it has 17 floors, and to access these halls, it has 18 lift cars. Now, you can guess how many rooms they have. 1,788 rooms. You heard that right, it has 1,788 rooms. It also includes 5 swimming pools, 1 banquet hall, parking spaces for 110 cars, a magnificent mosque which can accommodate up to 1,500 people, and it flaunts 44 staircases which are made of 38 different kinds of marble. The vaulted roofs merge Brunei's Islamic culture and Malay traditions beautifully. To light all this up, it is installed with 51,000 light bulbs. Now coming to the exterior of the palace, it's designed to reflect the style of Islam, but the center of the attraction is the huge dome, which is made of 22-karat gold. The palace is used for holding official meetings, and as royal residents, common citizens are not allowed in most parts of the palace. The second thing the king spends his money on is cars. So now let's look at the cars that the king owns. The Sultan is a car lover, and he collects cars which will put all the other car collectors to shame. His car collection has around 5,000 cars, because you can't expect a king to have only one car, right? And he keeps these cars in a 100-acre car garage. Not many are allowed to see this car collection, but those who do, a day falls short to see all the cars. This car collection holds almost all the luxury cars that you can think of. Reports say there are 500 Rolls-Royce, as it is the favorite of the king. This car collection also includes a Ferrari F440, which has a price tag of $4 million, and it can go way up because there are only 1,033 models of this car in the market. It also contains a Lamborghini Huracan, which is $81,028, and there are only 791 cars of this model in the market. The collection contains a BMW Nazca M12 with a price of $1.1 million, 2 concept sports cars of Ferrari Mythos, and it is so rare that the price of this car is not even available. The car collection also includes a Porsche 911. But when it comes to the personal favorite of the king, then one car takes all the credit, and that is the Rolls-Royce Phantom II Continental Star of India. This is the king's favorite car, and it's covered with gold to complement the king, and believe it or not, it was also selected for the wedding of the king. And this entire collection of cars is worth about $4 billion. This was for the road, but what about traveling through the air? They have some amazing private jets for that. The private jets. According to several reports, the king owns multiple jets and helicopters. The king has a Boeing 767-200, a $251 million jet, and an Airbus A340-200, which is worth $138 million. The fleet also contains 2 Sikorsky S-70 helicopters. But the crown jewel of the air fleet is the Boeing 747-400, and it is a favorite jet of the Sultan. It is known as the second house of the king. This is not just another jet, but it's no less than a luxurious house. The king has spent millions of dollars to make it even more luxurious. Coming to the interiors, this jet has a master bedroom, a private office with remote-control desk, a meeting room, and a bathroom. To make it more lavish, the interior is decorated with gold, gems, expensive crystals, expensive woods, and leathers. Even the bathroom of the king is decorated with gold, and the wash basin is completely made of 24-karat gold. This jet can travel up to 15,000 kilometers without even stopping, and the cost of this luxurious house is about $400 million, but many believe this can go way up as the modifications are not considered in this. Properties owned and companies owned by the king. The king has many properties in the country and around the world as well. The most popular of them are the Dorchester Hotel in London, 2 hotels in Los Angeles, which are the Beverly Hills Hotel and the Hotel Bel Air, 2 hotels in Paris, which are the Plaza Athénée and Hotel Maurice, a hotel in Rome, the Hotel Eden, and Principe di Savoia, which is in Milan. The king owns a theme park, Juradong Park Playground, which is worth $1 billion. He also owns a zoo, which contains rare animals and is worth $10 million. Now you must be wondering, where is this insane amount of money coming from? Let's see the king's earning source. The king's main income is from the country itself because Brunei is gifted with the natural resources, especially natural gas and crude oil, which contributes to 48% of Brunei's GDP, and the king holds all these resources. Brunei is the 3rd largest oil producer in Southeast Asia, 121,034.39 barrels per day of oil, and Brunei Shell Petroleum is the largest oil producer in Brunei. This is a 50-50 joint venture between the government and the Shell company. All the revenue collected from the oil companies of the country goes directly to the government treasury or the king, and that's how the king earns his money. Comment down below your favorite part and let us know. Also, press the subscribe button and the bell icon for regular updates.